Explore your opportunities with Skills Ontario. Skilled trades and technologies refer to careers that are all about hands-on work. There are 5 sectors: construction, industrial, motive power, service, and technology. Within the construction sector, professionals build, maintain, and repair structures like schools, hospitals, and homes. You could say the people in this industry are creating the building blocks of our communities. When you picture someone working in this field, you probably see someone in a hard hat, safety vest, and steel-toed boots working on a busy construction site. You wouldn't be wrong, but there's more to this sector too. Plumbers, power line technicians, electricians, painters, and much more make up this field. There are so many opportunities. The benefits of working within this sector are the job security and the satisfaction that you gain by providing a tangible solution to a real human need. You can work outside, stay active, and build things that will last for years. You can also earn a great living. Skilled trades and technologies offer competitive salaries and give you the opportunity to even start your own business. All the professionals in skilled trades and technologies are crucial to our province and our country. We depend on their work every day. They build our homes, maintain our cars, produce our tools, prepare our food, keep us connected to others, and more. They provide services that are irreplaceable. No matter what grade you're in, there are cool opportunities for you to explore at our Skills Ontario competition. With challenges and contests, we give you the chance to do hands-on activities. Visit skillsontario.com to attend our events and try some of our fun programs. And check out skillsontario.com/links to find other opportunities while you're still in school, no longer in school, or ready to earn while you learn. Explore all your opportunities. Maybe a career in the skilled trades and technologies is the perfect fit for you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Skills Ontario Skill Trade and Tech Inclusivity Series. My name is Adeku Koyi and I'm the Diversity and Engagement Officer at Skills Ontario. Skills Ontario is a non-for-profit organization that promotes skilled trade as a viable and valuable career path to young adults. And in my role, I create awareness about skilled trade and technology through series of events and workshops to the underrepresented youth. First of all, we'd like to thank our sponsors, the Government of Ontario, Royal Bank of Canada, Enbridge, and the Insurance Bureau of Canada. For your inquiries, feedback, and questions, the chat box is open. You can drop your questions there, and we will give you an answer. This event is recorded and will be posted on our website, and you can use the hashtag SkillsInclusivity to share on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. There's a link to the survey, and it has been dropped in the chat box. This survey helps us to bring better events, and you can complete it at your convenience and stand a chance to win Amazfit watch. So to take this event to the next level, we have our speaker, our skilled trade person, and they're going to tell us their story, their success story on how they got into the trades and how they are succeeding. So sit back, pay attention, and listen.
Hi, my name is Anselm Niles, and I've been in the trade for 22 years. I spent the last 20 years doing custom luxurious residential drywall. And the last 2 years, that was in the GTA, Greater Toronto area. Then I moved to Ottawa 2 years ago. I moved into the ICI sector of the drywall, where I'm doing metal framing, drywall, T-bar ceilings, commercial. I worked on a lot of high-tech commercial buildings in Ottawa. Well, growing up back home, the mindset of the trades, it's looked upon back home. It's not something that you'll get a push to go into it. It's more academic based. You know, it's not really career oriented back home. But in Canada, I think it's the go-to tool. Yeah, it's more professional, more respected in Canada. Naturally, it wasn't something I always wanted to do, but very luckily for me, arriving in Canada, I got introduced to the trade from my uncle. And being an immigrant coming and seeing what he has achieved throughout his life, being a tradesman, it opened a whole door, a whole idea for me. Like, yeah, just learning the trade, getting involved. I tried it out and then I loved it. I stuck with it versus going, I used to want to do IT, but then, you know, school, student loans, this and that, like it will take me like maybe 10 years to get to where I wanted to be at the time. So I know getting into the trades with him, like I was able to fast track to where I wanted to be. And plus I gained a lot of satisfaction in the trades as I learned it. I see, like within a week arriving in Canada. When I went out with my uncle, saw what he did, this and that, oh man, this is interesting, you know what I mean? Like you transforming houses and stuff like that, you're actually building homes, you're building, you know, contributing to Canada, building Canada as an immigrant and getting compensated for it, so. No, I never tried other trades, but you know, I like drywall. I got to see other trades when I was working, and I always ventured back into drywall, stuck with drywall, because for me, drywall gave you an overview of what comes before, and then you see what comes after. Meaning, like you see the skeleton of the house or whatever you're constructing, and then you stick around long enough, you get to see the outcome of it, like total transformation. So I always enjoyed that, just being the center of that middle trade, drywall. Was involved, like I said, yeah, my uncle, cousin, you know, they were very supportive of me. Like, as long as a young man, you show interest in the trade, you'll get mentorship from all around. So it was family, it was site supers. They were pushing me and telling, yo, this is good, this is great career, you know what I mean? Like you could achieve a lot at a very young age if you just keep going, keep going, keep going. You know, you get to build a good reputation for yourself, and you become, now as a young professional at a very young age. About by 24, 25, I was already on my way. And it was very beneficial. Like through the trades, I was able to purchase my first home at 23 years old. Experience through school and apprenticeship, God say, man, it was amazing. A lot of support from people. Like I get to meet a lot of great people in the trade who you know, you always have a good support system where that even if you're thinking twice about it, you see where you want to be and what you could achieve. And you know, people from all, like site supers, as I say, general contractors. I learned that the transition of, you could go very easily from being a tradesman and into being general contractor, a builder. Like the sky's the limit when you're in the trade. It's better, you gain knowledge, you gain expertise, experience, and then you could take it to the next level. You could go from working for someone and to becoming your own boss, employing people. It's a revolving door, it just keeps going. Well, luckily for me, I got introduced to the trade for family, and I was trained by them. So I didn't quite have to go back to school to union training school to get into it. Plus, I got in through the residential side. And so I did that for 20 plus years. And with my knowledge and experience in drywall, later on I switched to commercial ICI, and like all my credentials with just working experience and everything, I got grandfathered in as a journeyman through the commercial. Yes, definitely. First year on the job, first year was very encouraging. Like, you know, I'll speak direct, like everyone is into something because of the bottom line. The trades, like, it paid very handsomely, like very convincingly. As an apprentice, when I saw what I was making and there's room to improve and room to accelerate, it just kept me going and going and going. Like I said, I was able to purchase my first house at 23 years old. Like me being in anything else, I don't think that would ever happen. Whether it's medical field or anything else, I will be paying student loans until I'm like maybe 32 before I could start. So when I look at some of my peers, some of the people I grew up with, they went into different industries, medical, law, and everything. Like I was maybe 10, 12 years ahead of them. Being able, you know, like I'm raising a family of 5 kids, so it's a household of 7. Purchasing houses, property, stuff like that. Like I would never be able to do that, I think, if I was into something else at a very tender age. Yes, most definitely. Always room to grow and improve. Like I said, like you could go from being just a tradesperson to being your own, like the game is mostly self-employment. So you could go to being your own boss, employing people, you know, the sky's always the limit. Outside, at least within a month, I was approached to do some drywall repairs and stuff for someone, a neighbor, and you know, and yeah, God, as I went, word of mouth started spreading. This guy could do this guy could do that, and independence right away. Yeah, there were several barriers. I'd say like being a visible minority. People always firsthand they see you, they judge, so they always doubt like your capabilities. And I was always taught and trained that you always give 150%. You go above whatever is required. You go above. So you always have to work a little bit extra. Like I tell a lot of young guys, you work extra to be above the grade, above what else is out there. And once you prove yourself, like I became the top pick for a lot of people. I think it's an excellent decision if certainly for a lot of newcomers and coming to Canada, it's a good way to get your life started in Canada. For personal example, like I go into the gas station, coming from work, the way I am, dirty and stuff. Like they see me and we spark a conversation. I'm introducing guys into the trades, into the union, versus because they're telling me like what they make just being a gas station attendant, and I'm giving them a overall of what they could make at entry level, and if they stay in the trade and become a professional, well, they'll be. And that at the end of the day, that's what we come to Canada for a much better life. Typical day at my job, you come in, you get your assignment, get your stuff together, and for me, like the most rewarding thing is when I go to work, I set a goal for myself what I want to accomplish by lunchtime and at the end of the day. So I'm working towards the goal because the reward I get is seeing what I produce. That's what I feed off. I like to see my production and what I did at the end of the day. It gives me a lot of satisfaction. Just me naturally being a productive person. I like to see what I've accomplished. Okay, I'll start with tools-wise. I'll start with from framing, and then we'll move over to the drywall. So basically, we frame first, and then we drywall after. So framing, we have impact drill for framing metal studs. This is basically impact hammer drill. We use it to screw in our studs and keep them tight and connected. And framing our metal structure. So we have also the C-clamp, which is very essential to keep your studs together before you screw them, sorry. This is a snips. This is what we use to cut our steel studs. Whatever we measure, cut to size by hand, basically. This is a mini level. We use it in tight spots just to make sure our studs are straight. And for sure, DeWalt laser. We use this for framing to transfer whatever lines we snapped on the ground reflected in the ceiling, because we have top track, bottom track, and then we infill it with the studs. So this is very essential in framing. And for chalk line also in transferring whatever we have done of the blueprints to the structure, to the ground. We snap our lines and then we build. So sure, this is very, very essential. So after all the framing and everything, then we move over to the drywall, because now we're drywalling whatever we frame. Basically it's like this, and then we go to drywalling. Like for example, what's at the top. So drywall gun. This is mainly and only used for drywall. This is, it's called a router, drywall router, which is used for cutting out any circles or anything, mainly cutting out outlets, or for you making circle openings for pipes and whatever. This is a drywall router. This is a T-square, which is, it's straight T-square. It's used for cutting your drywall. Straight, nice, clean line. For sure, you can't, this is a must. Measuring tape, measuring tape. You always need that. Measuring tape, drywall axe. This is your drywall lift, which it's a foot. You use it with your foot to help pivot the drywall into position and to raise it up off the ground. And, so this is your basic, well, I won't say basic, but this is what your drywall pouch looks like. A lot of essentials in there. Drywall knife, for sure, for cutting out your drywall. Pencil, for sure, you need. And yeah, and it goes on, basically. Okay, well, I'll advise them to do, like, if they plan on going into the trade, what helped me with me not even having an idea of having a career into the trades. Like I said, I wanted to go into IT, but I did general subjects back home. So I did technical drawing. It really helped. Technical drawing, where you learn the fundamentals, how to dissect angles and stuff like that. It really, really helped. Me doing woodworking. Woodworking really helped, how to use tools, measurements, and just being creative. It brings out your creativity when you do woodworking shop and stuff like that. Mathematics is essential. Mathematics, you're doing math all day. Even if it's construction and stuff like that, you're doing math. It's mental and physical. You're constantly doing mathematics, constantly calculating, converting measurements, and you'll have a regular tape, metric tape. So you're constantly going back and forth with the plans, having an overall understanding of blueprints and everything. So you're constantly doing mathematics and yeah, woodwork, technical drawing. Basically anything you could do with your hands, technical, that provides physical and mental thinking at the same time, the way you train your body. That I think that's essential. A challenging job I faced. Well, many years ago, I was working on a movie set out in Toronto. It was Big Brother's movie set, and I wasn't too familiar with using the scissor lift, so I had a fear for heights. And we were going up almost 30 feet up in the air. That was very challenging for me, but I just had to build my courage and show my professionalism, and just go inch by inch, foot by foot, and just keep encouraging myself. I had my coworkers pushing me, encouraging me, because they really needed me on that job. And then we just kept going, going, going. At the end of the day, I was proud of myself and what we accomplished. Yeah, that was a good, memorable job. That job, I reflect on it, and that's when I overcame a lot of hurdles on that one. Now I have no fear for heights. The best way to cut to the chase, the best way to navigate this is showing the parents a copy of a tradesman T4. And, it's comical, but I know a young guy. He went into carpentry. His parents opposed it. They never liked it. They was never for it. But within 2 years, he was making almost more money than his father. And then his father, they got on board. Now he educated them on it, and he has their full support. It is possible to change from one trade into another trade, switching unions. Lots of people do it. Some people have a love for construction, and they try out different trades. So it takes them a while to figure out what suits them. So yeah, if you're at the highest level in one union, one trade, I think the only thing that will happen if you transfer to a different trade, say you're a journeyman in drywall and then you go to carpentry, the carpenters union, I think you'll be downgraded a little bit, maybe at the level 3 until you get on-the-job training, because basically it's a different trade you're doing. So you have to learn what you're doing, and then you'll be promoted right back to where you were. But it is possible, because nothing's set. Sometimes you get into the industry and then you see something else. Oh, I don't mind doing this. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind learning this. It's always evolving, always evolving. If I wasn't doing drywall, definitely I'll be doing plumbing. Because plumbing, water, people don't play around water. Once there's a leak in the house or anything, they shut it off and then they call a plumber to fix it. Because water damage is very expensive, and it's also, as a tradesman, it's good for your bottom line. Emergency calls after hours and everything, like, it pays. Plumbing, yeah, I'll definitely do plumbing if I wasn't doing drywall. Oh man, I think the trade saved my life, because it kept me in Canada. It kept me achieving my goals where I wanted to be, and I was able to build my life in Canada and also help support family I had back home. And I think it's only through the trades I could have been doing that. Independence. Doesn't matter, like, if you're a skilled trade professional, like, I moved from Toronto into Ottawa, I was able to get work within less than a week. And wherever you move throughout Canada, North America, like, your skills belongs to you. So you could go anywhere and make a living off your skills. It's in your hands, it's in your tool, it belongs to you. No one could take that away. And I think skills right now, people are buying into it. Skills is a way for survival. There's a lot of stuff that robots or AI can't replace. So skills is forever.
Hi there, my name is Joseph Iannuzzi. I'm a business representative with the Carpenters Union Local 27. Today, we are on Easter Construction's project where they are building the new head office for the Toronto Conservation Authority. Today, we are going to take a look at what it is like to be a carpenter on site. Come on, let's go. Here, take a look around. This is an all-wood construction building, a very unique site for a carpenter to really expand on their experience and knowledge in the carpentry trade. All of the material we see around us has been hoisted, rigged, and put in place by a carpenter or a carpenter apprentices. The personal protective equipment you're going to require to be on site is a hard hat, high-vis safety vest, steel-toe boots with a metal shank on the bottom, and also safety glasses when it is necessary. Now we have Robin Vandenberg here, one of our apprentice carpenters working for Timmerman Timberworks, building this beautiful structure that you're surrounded by. And Robin, let me ask you, what is it that got you interested in the carpenter trade?
When I was coming out of high school, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and I was fortunate enough to meet Local 27 members that just seemed like such great people that's what I decided I wanted to get involved in. And then I got lucky enough to get a job with Timmerman.
That's fantastic. So let me ask you this, what program was it that drew you towards the Carpenters Union?
So I went through OEAP with the Toronto Catholic District School Board. My sister went through it for a different program, and as I was looking into the my options, I noticed that the Carpenters Union had an incredible program with great access to training, and I decided to go with that. Not to mention, look what I get to do with my life, right?
And now, tell me, what is a day of a carpenter apprentice like for yourself?
For me, I have been around for a while, and I have a lot of my machine tickets because I was fortunate enough to meet great people that influenced me to get certified and learn. And so I get in, I do the JSAs, I get the tools distributed via forklift, which is great. And then I get material out as needed for whatever task has to be completed today. And then depending on what the day plan looks like, I'll either be sorting material for the next few days or I'll be installing.
Some carpenters, like Robin, choose to get their machine operator's license. As a trade carpenter, this makes you even more valuable to your company on site. As a carpenter in the ICI sector, your typical jobs can include the construction, renovations, and repairs of any projects involving wood, steel, concrete, and other materials. As a carpenter, you can work independently or with a large team. As you can see here, a project this size requires a large team on deck. Projects can happen anywhere, both indoors and outdoors. Needless to say, you will be learning something new every day. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it has sparked some interest in becoming a carpenter. For more information, please log on to skillsontario.com. Thank you and have a nice day.
That wraps up our session for today. We want to say a big thank you to our skilled trade speaker today. Thank you for motivating us and inspiring us to go into the trades. We want to say thank you to our sponsors. Please don't forget to complete our survey. If you still have questions, please drop them in the chat box. Thank you all so much for attending and have a great rest of the day. Goodbye.